Sorry about that. We were just having a little static with the microphone, and for your guys' sake, I wanted to make sure we got a brand new one, or else you guys would have been hearing popping the entire tour, and that would not have been fun. It is so nice to meet you guys. My name is Kat, and we have our wonderful driver, Steve, here at the wheel. Everyone say hi, Steve. Now, you guys, before we get going on our studio tour, we're just going to review a couple safety rules real quick. Now, first, if you need any guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or have any sound or video issues, you guys can reach up and pull the red emergency cord that runs along the center ceiling of our tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, throughout the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use that red cord above your head if you need any assistance. Now, our studio is private property, so if at any point during our tour you drop your cell phone, or you just can't wait to use the restroom, you guys can go ahead and pull that red cord above your head and remain seated. Please, no smoking of any kind during the tour. Now be prepared, my friends, because our tour today features a lot of loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. So you'll want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but just keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. And finally, for your safety and for the safety of those around you, please make use of selfie sticks while on board. All right, my friends, well, we are going to get this 60th anniversary studio tour on the road. And here to kick off our tour is our master of ceremonies, Jimmy Fallon.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world-famous studio tour. I know what you're thinking. Why the tux? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Well, we are currently making our way down what we call our movie poster timeline. Now, back on March 15th, 1915, our founder Carl Laemmle invited the public into our studio to watch as silent movies were being made. Guests were able to walk from set to set and marvel at the new technology in our filmmaking process. Now, with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on set, the original walking tour came to an end. But in the 1960s, under the leadership of company chairman Lou Wasserman and executives Al Norskin and Jay Stein, the idea of reviving a tour of the studio returned when the Gray Line bus tours, which originated in Hollywood, made a stop here at our gates. On July 15, 1964, the first of our red and white candy-striped glamour trams took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour of our lot, and our studio tour was born. We started out with 2 drivers, 2 guides, and 1 ticket seller. Now, from there, the studio tour expanded with fantastic, one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements, like the rock slide, which previously occurred here to our left, and the burning house, which were all part of our lot here on our right-hand side as well. Now, to our right-hand side is Fire Station 51. That is a real fire station that we have here on our lot. Now, Universal Studios, even though we are a production studio, we're actually a very own city. We have our own zip code, we have our own sheriff's substation, and our own fire station. Now, we are currently riding on what we call an electric tram. Now, we are continuing our commitment to creating a green fleet of electric vehicles here. So our electric trams get their power from wireless inductive charging pads, kind of similar to the ones you guys might have for your cell phones, only a little bit larger here to fit onto our tram. Now, every time we are braking or going downhill here on our tram, we're actually recharging our tram to keep us going here on our back lot. Now, we're going to be making our way through two different sections of our studio today. The first area we're going to be making our way through is what we call our front lot. Now, here on our front lot is where we house our production offices and our sound stages. Now, our sound stages are basically huge empty warehouses that are about 98% soundproof. Coming up to our left-hand side, you guys are actually going to get a chance to see some of our sound stages here. Now, these sound stages to our left are where we conduct about 90% of all of our filming. Now, we are actually the only movie studio that has a theme park attached to it. So, over on the left is where we film a lot of our shows, and here to the right-hand side is actually where we have New Super Nintendo World. So we're currently driving through the middle of the theme park and the sound stages. Now, back in the day, over on the right-hand side, that was previously what we called the preview center. Guests were able to come onto our lot back in the 60s and 70s, and they were able to visit the costume designer, Edith Head. She was one of our Oscar-winning designers here on the lot. They were able to stop by her office. They were also able to drive through our prop warehouse that was previously here on the lot. And over to our right-hand side was our special effects stage back in the 1960s. Now, we are going to be passing by one of our sound stages known as Soundstage 14. Now, inside of Soundstage 14, we have filmed a lot of iconic films like Jurassic Park. We built the entire Welcome Center for that film inside of Soundstage 14. We also filmed John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell, as well as a couple scenes from the Muppets movie starring my favorite celebrity, Kermit the Frog. Now, Soundstage 14 is over on our left-hand side, passing by some of our white trailers here that we have for our production lot. We are currently using Soundstage 14 for Season 3 of our original Peacock series, Bel Air. Now, here to tell us more about how we use our sound stages on our lot are Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlatan, stars of Bel Air. Take a look.
We're leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we can create any kind of environment the script demands.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination can take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
or what.
you'll see on the studio tour.
Now, coming up on our left-hand side, this tan building that you guys see coming up that looks a little bit like an airplane hangar, that is what we call our mill. Now, this is where we have our talented carpenters and metal shop workers who come in to create the props and set pieces that we use throughout all of our productions here on our back lot. And now coming up on our right-hand side, behind our minions from Illumination Entertainment, are what we call our television sound stages. Now, we filmed a lot of iconic TV shows in here back in the day, like The Jeffersons and One Day at a Time. We most recently filmed seasons 2 through 4 of Never Have I Ever, which is currently streaming on Netflix. And we also filmed the new Quantum Leap reboot in here as well, starring Raymond Lee and Ernie Hudson. And now coming up on our left, guys, we have our first celebrity sighting, y'all. We have everyone's favorite teddy bear, Ted. He is currently toasting us today. Now, this guy is celebrating because he has his very own prequel show on Peacock. So Seth MacFarlane decided to dive back into the Ted universe to give us a prequel to the original 2 Ted movies. Now, almost all of season 1 is currently available on our streaming platform, Peacock. So if any of you guys are huge Ted fans, I highly recommend viewing our show. Now, here to our left-hand side, these tan bungalows that you guys see here were previously dressing rooms for some of our stars back in the 1960s. Lucille Ball actually had a dressing room here on our lot. Now, since then, they have been converted into production offices. So this is where we conduct our pre-production phase, which consists of script writing, casting, and budgeting. Now, for any of my fellow theater kids on board, come coming up on the left-hand side, a little bit in between the bungalows here, kind of passing this golf cart that you guys see, you guys are going to see a green balloon with Glinda and Alphaba from the musical Wicked. Now that right there is home to Mark Platt Productions. Now, Mark Platt has brought us some amazing movie musicals over the years, like La La Land and Dear Evan Hansen. He also brought us my favorite Universal film of all time, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and is currently working on the new film adaptation of the Broadway musical Wicked. Now here to our left-hand side are some of our newer sound stages on our lot. If you guys actually look at some of our parking signs up front, you can see that we are currently filming our show Lopez vs. Lopez inside of these sound stages. That is our NBC sitcom starring George Lopez and his daughter, Maya Lopez. Now we are going to be entering into what we call our back lot here. Now this is where we have a lot of our grand scale exterior sets. Now to our left-hand side is our Metropolitan sets, also known as our lovely concrete jungle there. Now we are going to be leaving our concrete jungle and making our way into the real jungle of Skull Island. Here to welcome us is Academy Award-winning director, Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have.
We'll have a short rest stop here at Prop Plaza. Good place to stretch your muscles and take a few pictures. You'll see some giant props here from The Incredible Shrinking Woman and other movies.
Along the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
That is right, my friends. Now this is just a quick reminder to remain seated at all times. And remember, folks, no flash photography. We have some dinos here on Skull Island, and the flash can kind of freak them out a little bit. Now welcome back to Skull Island. my goodness, y'all. All right, how's everyone doing? Car 1, that was a lot of dinosaurs that got on you guys. I saw all of that, and they must really not like you guys here in Car 1. Car 2, y'all made it out too. Awesome, good to see it. Car 3 also survived, nice. And my friends in Car 4 also made it out. Cool, we got everyone out, love to see it. Now, that right there was created by our friends over at Weta FX. Now, Weta FX is a New Zealand-based digital effects company that has worked on some pretty amazing films over the years. They've worked on the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies, as well as Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. They did the special effects for the new Batman, starring Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson, and also did the effects for the new HBO Max show The Last of Us, starring the Internet's father, Pedro Pascal. They also did the effects for Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, starring Lupita Nyong'o and Angela Bassett. Now, coming up here to our left, you guys can see some more of our Metropolitan sets. Now, actually, here to the left-hand side, where we have some of our trailers, this is where we previously had our original King Kong attraction. Now, here to tell us a little bit more about that is one of the stars from the 2005 film, King Kong. Take a look.
And self-action. Did you know the Metro sets were once the home to Hollywood's biggest star? Right here is where the original studio tour King Kong attraction resided from 1986 until 2008. He stood 30 feet tall and weighed in at 13,000 pounds. Over the years, millions of guests got to meet King Kong face to face as he shook the tram. So close you could feel his hot banana breath. Is that it? I can't believe that's my last line, and then Tram moves on to the next thing.
Y'all, I love that man so much. I really wish we had some more Jack Black on there. Now, over to the left-hand side is some more of our Metro sets. Now, we have had a lot of superheroes run through here. Spider-Man 2, starring Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, was filmed here, as well as The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield. For any of my fellow Chicanos on board, we all know the name Edward James Olmos, very famous actor back in the 90s. He actually filmed a couple scenes from his movie American Me right here on our Metro sets as well. Now, to our right-hand side here, we are seeing something we don't usually get the chance to drive past most of our studio tours, but that is our iconic monster mural. Now, that was created by artist Tristan Eaton. Now, everything that you guys see there was all created using just spray paint. So to get that amount of detail using just cans of spray paint is incredibly impressive. Now, for any of my fans of The Voice on board, over to the left are some of our voice sound stages. Those are currently home to the newest season, and we are currently prepping up for that coming up. Now, for my Jordan Peele fans on board, over to the left-hand side, Soundstage 33 was used for his film Nope. So that scene where Keke Palmer is showing all of the directors the horse, that was filmed inside of that soundstage. And when she's driving away from the studio with Daniel Kaluuya, they're driving on the road that we are currently driving on. Now, right next door to Soundstage 33 is our Park Lake, also known as our Hollywood Ocean. Now, that was previously used for an attraction we once called the Parting of the Red Sea. Now, here in 1974, we added the Parting of the Red Sea to the studio tour, which was inspired by the classic film The Ten Commandments. The star of the movie, Charlton Heston, made an appearance to part the waters for our guest. The glamour trams would then appear to drive through the lake and give everyone on board a sea-level view.
This tram is overloaded. Tell them they can walk on water. It's part of the tour.
Now, we are currently making our way into one of my favorite parts of the studio tour. Now, if I have any fans of the NBC sitcom The Good Place, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson, you guys might recognize our little Europe sets as The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Now, for my fellow Good Place fans, coming up on the left here, this grassy courtyard right next to us, this is where Ted Danson welcomed everyone in the orientation to the afterlife in the very first episode. Our all-chocolate everything restaurant is still opened up right back there. And now on your guys' screen, this is a scene from the show. You guys can see Chidi sitting in front of that yogurt shop. That's that same yogurt shop is going to be at the top of the hill. It'll be on your left-hand side if you guys want to take a photo of it. Now, it is currently dressed to look exactly how it did in the show. Now, any fans of Disney on board might also recognize these streets as Genovia, from A Princess Diaries to A Royal Engagement starring my Queen Anne Hathaway. Her coronation parade took place right here in Little Europe. And for any fellow Gilmore Girls fans on board, that scene where Lorelai and Christopher are looking for bread in Paris at 4 a.m., that was filmed right here in Little Europe. I just want to say, you guys at Pre-Car One are my besties. You guys are liking everything I'm talking about, and I love it. Right here in Little Europe, this is what is known as our Court of Miracles. Now, that area is considered pretty sacred ground here at Universal Studios. Now, if any of you guys are like me and love scary movies, or have ever just visited us during our Halloween Horror Nights event, you guys know that we love our classic monsters here at Universal. Now, all those classic monster movies were filmed right there in Little Europe. We've had Bela Lugosi as Dracula, Boris Karloff as Frankenstein, we've had the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Mummy. All of them got their start right there in Little Europe. Now, since then, Universal has grown greatly in the horror genre, so to see some familiar monster faces, go ahead and take a look at your screens. Pretty exciting stuff, y'all. So remember when I told you that Steve was literally the best driver? Well, guys, he got us an inside look here at one of our sound stages. Everyone say, thank you, Steve. Now, you guys, this is currently being used for one of our productions that is filming here on our lot. Now, you guys who are annual pass holders might recognize this soundstage. This was previously home to our Earthquake Subway soundstage. Now, unfortunately, we did scrap that attraction a couple months ago, but it is still currently being used as a Subway soundstage. Now, my friends, because we are currently actively filming in here, the crew is just asking that we try our best to remain safe while we're in here. Make sure you guys are holding on to all your belongings. You don't want to lose a cell phone here on set. Now you guys can see that this is currently dressed up like San Francisco. We got some updated stuff in here. It looks pretty cool. Now, most of the time, whenever we come into a soundstage, most of our designs here are completely bare. So all of the posters that you guys see here are brought in by our production crew members. Now that is what we call a set design, which basically just means that we come in, decorate how we want our soundstage to look, to make it look like the location or I think we might be experiencing a tremor, folks, so everyone go ahead. All right, y'all. You guys, listen, you up that way. Now, my friends, we are currently around the halfway mark of our tour, everyone. So I just want to remind you all to remain seated at all times, keeping your arms and legs inside the tram. Now, our studio is private property, folks, so if at any point during our tour you drop a cell phone or you just can't wait to use the restroom, please feel free to pull that red cord above your head and remain seated. Now, my friends, that was a wild time, pretty stressful. Shaking like that can be a little crazy. We also got a lot of water here in car one again. So, you guys, we're gonna treat you guys to a nice little beach day because there's no better form of self-care than going to the beach, right? Now, y'all, we're gonna stop by Amity Island, and I know you guys might have heard about the shark. Do not worry, guys. My buddy George got hired over at Amity Police, and he caught the shark, everyone. We're chilling. The shark is hanging out right here on the right-hand side. He's smiling. He's so excited to see you all. Now, my friends, Amity Police is conducting one final sweep of the beach, my friends. So they just ask that we remain seated at all times, keeping our arms and legs inside the tram. That is just for our safety while they'll conduct their patrol here. Now, as you guys can see, we do have our Amity Police boat here on the right-hand side. And, oh, okay, I think that might be a shark fin, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and call this into dispatch. That does not look good. Oh, guys, there's my buddy George. Hey, George. Okay, all right, it looks like he met the shark. All right, cool. Bye, George. Everyone's wave goodbye to my friend. Okay, well, everyone look away. If anyone on board has scuba experience, it looks like we have a brand new job opening here at Amity Police. That's cool. All right, so we're gonna move behind these very flammable gasoline tanks because that seems so safe. All right, y'all, you're gonna be on lookouts, okay? If you see anything fishy on the right-hand side of the tram, please let me know. In the business. Only shark in the world who can swim backwards, folks. Look at that amazing boy go. Now, even though our shark here on the lot is so talented, 10 out of 10, give him all the Oscars, the original shark used on the set of Jaws was a total diva. So on the first day of filming, they placed him in the ocean and he sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, pushing production back almost 7 months. So Jaws was supposed to be released in December, but was pushed back to be released in the middle of summer, making Jaws the first summer blockbuster in cinematic history. Now, here to welcome us to our next part of our studio tour is today's show co-host and weather anchor, Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968.
How we create weather effects here on the park. Now we just put sprinklers at the top of these super tall poles, we shoot the water up, and we let it fall as you see here. Now see if you guys can take out your cameras and capture the water droplets on your cell phone. Sometimes depending on the lighting of the scene, the water might not show up on camera, which is a special effect we'll come in to add extra rain later. Alright, team, I think that's cut on the rain. Alright guys, you don't seem to be hearing me in dispatch, folks, so I'm going to go ahead and figure this out for us real quick. You guys just remain seated, you're going to keep recording the rain, and okay, that looks so fun. Now, my friends, I did forget to mention at the start of the tour, you guys met at some point on our tour today. Now, we are currently entering into our Old Mexico sets. Any fellow film connoisseurs will recognize this from National Humor starring Jack Black and Hector Jimenez. And this is also where Lady Gaga filmed her Judas music video starring Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. Now, a fun little history fact for y'all. Did you know that the American cowboy was actually inspired by the Mexican vaquero? Now, much like that transition, we are moving from Old Mexico into our 6 Points Western sets. Now, these set pieces that you guys see here are some of our oldest standing sets that we have here on the Universal lot. Now, back in the day, Universal Studios used to film primarily silent Western films. Now, we were able to film up to 6 different movies at the same exact time here on this street because we didn't have to worry about the sound from one film interrupting the sound from another. Now, a lot of classic Western stars got their start here, like Clint Eastwood and Jimmy Stewart, but these set pieces have most recently been seen in Quentin Tarantino's film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, something that you guys are going to notice as we're moving throughout 6 Points, take a quick look at some of the doors that we have here. Now, you are going to notice that they are a little different in their sizes. For example, here to the left-hand side, this door with the stained glass window is a lot shorter than the door right next to it with the brown curtain. Now, you don't really notice that upon your first look, but if you look closer, most of our doors here in 6 Points are all different sizes. Now, that is a technique that we call forced perspective, and we actually use that a lot here on our back lot to trick the camera into thinking that things are a little different than what they actually are in real life. So back in the day, some of our cowboys were a couple inches shorter than the women they were supposed to be saving. So, in order to make our men look tall, we would film all of their scenes in front of the short doors, and to make our women look shorter, we would film all of their scenes in front of the taller doors. Welcome to Universal Studios Hollywood, where we support our short kings in any way that we can. We love our short kings here, guys, yeah. Now, coming up, you guys are going to see what we call Denver Street. Now, we have had a lot of iconic Western brawls here in Denver Street. Now, here to go ahead and look at some of them on your screen. Take a look.
Maybe you're just going to stir things up here. Then I am.
Mine hit the ground first. Mine was taller.
Now, we are going to be making our way past some of our residential streets here on the lot. Now, over on the right, you guys will recognize our shark there. Now, our Amity Island here was used as Cabot Cove for Angela Lansbury's show Murder, She Wrote. Now, coming up here to the left, this yellow house with the green roof here on the street right in front of us, that was Boo Radley's house in To Kill a Mockingbird. Here on this street is also where Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong filmed Cheech and Chong's next movie. If y'all know that movie, you guys are my people. Gold star to all of you guys. Now, coming up here to the right-hand side, this is what we call our chicken ranch. Now, this is one of our largest practical sets here on the lot. That just means that we can actually film both inside and outside of this building. Dolly Parton sang her heart out here for the best little whorehouse in Texas. And this was also the home used in Rob Zombie's House of 1,000 Corpses. Now, coming up to our left, you guys are going to get a nice glimpse at our Colonial Street. Now, this is one of our most famous residential streets here on the lot. There on that street, we have 1313 Mockingbird Lane, the original home of the Munster series. Davy from the show Never Have I Ever lives there on that street. And that was also previously known as Wisteria Lane for 12 seasons of the ABC sitcom Desperate Housewives. To see how else we've used that street throughout the years, go ahead and take a look at your screens. Now, we have collaborated with a lot of amazing directors here on our lot throughout the years. One of the most famous directors we've worked with is Academy Award winner Steven Spielberg. Now, we love that man so much here on our back lot. We actually decided to name a street after him. So we are currently driving down Spielberg Drive. Now, back when Steven Spielberg was around 19 years old, he directed a short film called Amblin. Now, this short film made its way to some of our producers here at Universal. They fell in love with it and decided to offer him a 7-year directing contract, making him the youngest contracted director in Hollywood at the time. Now, we are going to be making our way through our original crash site set from Steven Spielberg's film War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. Now, here to give us a little bit of insight on how they created this iconic set is art director Rick Carter and director Steven Spielberg.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around
the opposite way.
Again, to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. That's right. Now listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Now closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Now, the plane that's there on the right-hand side is a real airplane. The crew bought that for about $20,000, which seemed like a steal. Secondhand thrifting, we love it. But it cost over $60,000 just to transport it onto the lot, which, what is the shipping and handling? Where they get you, folks? Now, from one iconic set to another, over on our right-hand side is our iconic Psycho house from Alfred Hitchcock's 1960s film, Psycho. Now, we do have some lovely small business owners hanging out here in this house. See if you guys can catch Mother hanging out in her rocking chair in the second-story window. Now, my friends, I thought you were all stars, so I decided to bring you the Hollywood sign. You're welcome. Now you don't have to hike up Griffith Park. Now this right here is our official scale replica of the iconic LA landmark. While we're celebrating our 60th birthday here at the studio tour, the Hollywood sign is celebrating its 100th birthday here in LA. Now, back in the day, one major part of our studio tour was a visit to Prop Plaza, where people were able to come off of the tram to take pictures with some iconic props and set pieces. Well, my friends, you guys are going to be able to do that today. Now, coming up here, you guys are going to be able to get off of the tram to visit throughout our Prop Plaza. Now, you guys will be getting on a brand new tram with a completely different tour guide. So this is my final stop with you guys. It was so nice to meet you all. Now, just make sure you guys grab all of your belongings. Make sure to watch your arms and legs on the left-hand side. And when you guys are ready to continue your tour, just go ahead and follow the signs. Have a great time, y'all.
An original one? No way.
That is an original studio tour vehicle right there.
Where do we go? This way. It's because the lighting's on the other side.
This is how you get back.
That's not the regular one that used to be here. That one's much taller. Or is it? I can't. It's been a while.
Emergency of any kind, pull that red cord, remain seated, and I will be back to assist you as soon as it is safe for me to do so. Without further ado, one of my favorite directors, Mr. Jordan Peele.
I remember going to Universal Studios when I was 12 years old, feeling this feeling of wonder. You know, one of my first trips at Universal Studios, seeing the Jaws ride. One of my favorite movies of all time. Just feeling like, that's him. That's the Jaws. Like, I don't even know if that is the Jaws. I hope it is. Sharing a space with Hitchcock and Spielberg, I couldn't be more proud.
That is right. Next up, we are headed to the sets from Jordan Peele's most recent film titled Nope. Now, they filmed this movie in Santa Clarita and then packed up the sets and brought them here just for our studio tour. Welcome to Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. I'm looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of old West Brunswick town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of no.
like it's time for us to get out. Now, those sets are an integral part of the film. Nope, available on Amazon Prime Video. Definitely recommend giving it a watch. Now we are headed towards the part of the studio where we once had an attraction called the Doomed Glacier Expedition, better known as the Ice Tunnel. The Ice Tunnel was featured in an episode of $6 Million Man starring Lee Majors with Andre the Giant as Bigfoot. The train would climb to an imaginary elevation of 12,000 feet, and the only way back to the theme park was through the Ice Tunnel, where the slightest sound could trigger an avalanche, and well, it always did, causing the walls to spin and the guests to tilt along with the Hollywood special effects. Now, right where our Ice Tunnel used to be located, we have built our Fast and the Furious attraction. So I do remind you all to please stay seated, because we have a witness on board our tram, wanted by a very bad guy named Owen Shaw. But don't worry, because I talked to Dom's family and he said they can help us out.
My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you in Shaw for a while. We brought you in our secret spot.
All right, look, guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
FBI, don't move. Neil, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not...
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. Got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of this.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate.
Shaw traced us. Hobbs can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Alrighty, folks, let's throw on those 3D glasses.
turn. After them. Okay, guys, it's showtime. Fast enough. Roman, Lenny, hook him up. Hit it! I got the move on the horn. Now we're moving. Stop! Look out! You can be the witness to another one close the game. The witness is mine, Lenny.
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Go in the close! Way to go, Lenny. Don't climb another missile shot! Not gonna happen! Don't worry, I got this! Coming to the shoot, head from the grid! Under construction! Hit the nitrous! Ride and die!
Over the past 6 decades, the studio tour has taken guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you to all of you for celebrating 60 years of the studio tour with us. Our 60th anniversary is special to us because the studio tour is where it all began for Universal destinations and experiences. From 2 glamour trams traveling around the studio lot in the summer of 1964, we've developed into so much more, including 7 parks, entertaining millions of guests every year, and the upcoming Universal Epic Universe opening in 2025. I'd also like to acknowledge all the studio tour ambassadors, drivers, and studio guides throughout our history who have helped to make the studio tour world famous. From our first 4 guides and drivers to the hundreds of team members who support the tour every day. I also want to thank you, annual pass holders. Thanks for coming back time and time again. We love you. If you are interested in purchasing any Universal television productions or movies that I talked about on the studio tour today, you can do so at ubhe.com or inquire about them at any retail location. You can also check the Peacock app. They're probably streaming there as well. That was a great time to gather any of your belongings that you might have put down. Make sure that you have your phones in your hand. It's very important. Oh, also your kids. They are very important too. Now, on behalf of myself, John, and everyone here at Universal, I hope you enjoyed your behind-the-scenes look at how we make our movies and TV shows. And as they say here in Hollywood, that's a wrap.